All right, it's time, and hopefully this isn't too close. So this is going to be the 1963 Western Hockey League Championship, the Lester Patrick Cup Final. Maybe that is a little too close. I should zoom out. Lester Patrick Final, or Lester Patrick Cup Final. This one not being between the San Francisco Seals and the Seattle Totems, because sometimes when you replay things, they go a little differently. And so the Canucks actually upset the Totems in the semifinal. And the Buckaroos, this one, it was less surprising to me, because teams that perform really well in a regular season when they're carded in a hockey game, and that's the data that you're, probably going to rely on most exclusively in putting together the game. It just so happens that some of these teams, if anything, are even more difficult to defeat on a tabletop than they would be in real life. So it is what it is. And I even actually, today I was out on a walk, found a new stationery store that I hadn't seen before, and actually bought this brand new deck here, this pack of bicycle cards. It was $5 in Korea. I'm not, roughly 5,000 won. Not sure what that would be. I'm not sure how much these cards would be in Canada or the US. These days, I've never actually bought a pack of bicycle cards in the States. Anyway, it does mean that once I open these, that will have some more than some shuffling to do, of course, anytime that one gets a brand new deck of cards. But, and of course, this is Deck of Cards Hockey. And also at the same stationery store, this is entirely unrelated, but I'll set this here while I'm opening this deck of cards. Has absolutely nothing to do with the Lester Patrick Cup Final. But for a couple of bucks, when you find COVID-19 toys. It's one of these things that I wouldn't believe in unless I saw it. And I don't know, maybe it's getting old, but I'm just surprised. It's stationery, actually. I don't know what the pills are supposed to be. These syringes, they are pens. There you go. So at a stationery store over here in South Korea, you can get COVID-19 toys. COVID-19 stationery really is what this is. Again, pens, and I don't know what the heck this other stuff is supposed to be. But yeah, I never thought I'd see the day. And I feel like if I was to say that you could get that over here, no one would believe me. So again, for a couple of bucks, I just went out and got it. So some brand new cards here for this final. And I thought I had fingernails, but evidently I do not, or not enough of them to get into this here quickly enough. So again, how these teams got here, Vancouver, again, they were down 2-0 in that series against Seattle, and then they came back and won 3 straight. I'm just doing a best of 5 for this, not a best of 7. It was a shortened regular season, so I thought I'd do a bit of a shortened playoff to go with it. It only felt fitting. And I do a lot of that. I do a lot of just reduced length seasons just to try to keep it manageable. What it allows me to do is get through, multiple projects, handful of projects. Now, I'm a little disappointed already in these cards because when I got them, I thought that they would have black backs to them, and I thought that'd be kind of sharp, kind of cool. If you look at the box itself here on the outside, now it might actually say red somewhere on the box. I actually just picked them up at the cash when I went to pay for them. I just happened to notice them there out of the corner of my eye, so I added them with this and a couple of other things that I bought. But so we'll take away the COVID-19 toys now, because don't have anything to do with the Lester Patrick Trophy. And yeah, these kind of seem a little, they're basically very similar to my other ones, only my other ones are even a little nicer, actually, a little glossier. And so, oh well, let's go with what we have here. You know what, actually, no, never mind, because these ones are shuffled already. So I guess the other ones are newer, but I mean, what the heck? I've played all of the on-camera stuff has been done with this deck, so we'll get this deck ready here. And yeah, I just watched Kings of the Road, got through Kings of the Road. So another thing that I should say for this one, as I also see that I have just 52 minutes, just under 53 actually, to complete this entire video. Evidently, I'm using up a lot of memory on this phone, storage on this phone with some videos. I have to take some of them off the phone. But I just finished watching Kings of the Road, the documentary of the Portland Buckaroos, a documentary that's on YouTube. I'll link to it in the description to this video. And definitely shout out off the top to Dodger Ron Ron over on Delphi, where I also have to go, and I know that I'm behind and I have to update this and some of my other projects over there. I don't want to become the guy who just goes there and dumps his video links and then leaves and doesn't, say anything. I mean, I do also follow and comment on others' projects there, but I realize I have to do some stats updating and summary updates and things like that for my own. So I'm definitely behind on those. Anyway, but again, shout out to Dodger Rom, because it wasn't the easiest documentary to find. I think, I had looked for some stuff in the Buckaroos before this, prior to this, various, 63 Western Hockey League stuff, and hadn't come across that. And yeah, if you look like this, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. These are kind of dull and not as glossy as these ones. Anyway, so we're going to get things going here for game one between the Canucks and the Portland Buckaroos in 63, where Jerry Goyer was still a guy, because he's kind of suspiciously absent from the documentary. Art Jones is in it, Loftman a little bit, Schmotz through archive footage. Tom McVie, I learned, because he even talks about himself in his last name. Bill Saunders is pretty present in there. Bill Saunders, who tried out for the Toronto Maple Leafs in seasons prior, and then was going to head to Chicago late in his career. So this will probably be a lot longer than it needs to be, as I sort of ramble on about this documentary. Watched about an hour or so of it on Friday night, and it's Sunday afternoon here now, and just finished watching the other half hour of it. Anyway, the Joker means we're going to get Jerry Goyer. I just default to the top player, so we're going to get Goyer with it in the early going. We're the 9. Goyer is going to be able to get it through. Tempted to give it to Art Jones, so might as well not change the way that I do things now. So Ken Loftman here with a scoring chance where the 6 has been played. So Gilles Villemure there with a save for Vancouver. And up to the 5-minute mark now, we have Tom Beattie with it here for the Canucks. And with the jack, that's not going to be able to penetrate the Buckaroos defense. I'm going to put the deck over here now, much better. And so I have to, did I burn 2 cards yet? I don't think I did. Nope. So it's going to be here Arnie Schmotz with it. Schmotz going to be able to set up Bill Saunders with it, and Bill Saunders is going to put the Portland Buckaroos up 1-0 about 7.5 minutes in. It's unfortunate that I'm not going to be able to do. They scored like 4 goals in 45 or 48 seconds. The DoC engine simply won't permit that here. The Buckaroos did. It's like, I think, a professional hockey record, or was at the time, for the fastest 4 goals scored in a game. I'm definitely going to have to watch that documentary again. I'll use the 4 of spades here. So Ken Loftman picking up the secondary assist, and we're Schmotz at the primary there. Saunders with the goal. And we're going to keep playing. So we got a 3 here now. It's going to be Orville Tessier with it. He's also kind of not really mentioned much in the documentary. Wasn't really part of the long-term story. And with the 2, he's unable. Actually, the 3 and then the 2 right after. I was going to look team players. So 2 more cards have been burned here. So 10 minutes now. So it's going to be Marty Howe with it. No relation to Gordy's son. And Howe's also unable to play it through. I think we're 12.5 minutes in now. I'll check, as I think it's even closer than that. It's going to be Carl Buddy Boone here with the Canucks. But again, when those 2s come up in the second card of the sequence, typically a play killer 99% of the time. Anyway, it's going to be Robert Bob Cabell here with it now. Cabell with the 5. Vancouver trying to make things happen here late in the frame. McCusker with the 8. We got a 1-1 game here. So McCusker scores for Vancouver. I realize I gotta do my own, like, he scores. I can't do that, but he scores. I don't know. I'm still working on it. Scores. I don't know. Anyway, it's 1-1 here late, and it was McCusker from Carl Buddy Boone, and with the diamond there, the Queen of Diamond, that's going to be Hughes. H. Hughes. Going to have to double check. Don't want to say whether it's Howard or Hal in case I'm incorrect on that. Counting how many cards. Got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Yep, that checks out. So we got one more sequence here in the first period. And it's going to be Cabell with the puck again here. Wait, was it Cabell who got the first one? Maybe not Buddy Boone. It was King 5, 10, 8. Sorry, it was Cabell with the assist there, and Hughes with the secondary. And Cabell's got the puck again here. So just to remind me that he had it and that I should award him a point. And he's going to Red Kings. That'll be able to get through the Buckaroos defense there to Beattie with the 5, unable to, and so that's going to be the end of 1, where it's 1-1 after 1 here in game 1. So back for the second, it was Saunders opening up the scoring. McCusker tying the game here in the first period. Here for the second period now, and this is again the 1963 Lester Patrick Cup. The Portland Buckaroos in real life, they won it in 61, 65, and 71, and they finished first 7 of 9. A run there where they finished first 7 of 9 seasons. And Madigan, who joined the team the following season, talked about some of their playoff disappointments. The Buckaroos, where they were tipped in favor to win, but were unable to get the victory. So it remains to be seen here whether this would be one of those. The upset-minded Vancouver Canucks having already upset the Totems. Let's see what we get here for period 2 in game 1. It's going to be DoC here. I believe that's Dave Duke. DoC here off the draw, and the 10, let's see, king of clubs. So Dookie's going to get it to Carl Boone, and we actually have a 2-1 Canucks score. He scores in overtime. Sorry, it's not overtime, it's the second period. Rick Jenneret being the latest of my bad impressions here. So anyway, Boone has made it a 2-1 hockey game now. Secondary assist going to be H for Hearts. So Phil Maloney there picking up a point. 2-1 Vancouver, just 2.5 in. And McCusker, Vancouver's wasting no time trying to build on that lead. I'm not going to injure him, but that's going to be an unsuccessful play there, that blackjack on the second card of the sequence. The 3, it's going to be Marty Howe with another touch and another perfectly bad one. I wonder if that's what he got in the first. Anyway, we're taking out all the low cards here, so we could get some more scoring here in the second period, where Tom McCarthy, he's going to get the puck to Gord Fashaway, Fashaway, who was later their coach. And Villimer will always surrender on a king, any king. The suit doesn't matter. So it's going to be a 2-all game here now. I believe we're 7.5 in. I'll check later in the frame. And the secondary assist for that, we're looking here for clubs. Arnie Schmotz picking up a point. So it was Schmotz from, sorry. It was Fashaway from McCarthy and Schmotz. Okay, 2-2. It's going to be Vancouver with the puck again, though. Ron Hutchinson here with a 9. And Hutchinson now, he's setting up Larry Popian with a 6. Popian just narrowly had a wide open net there and fired wide. So it's going to be, the Popian with a 6, yes. So it's going to be here. Ron Matthews this time, the defense. Unfortunately, Portland says we have your defense right here. Matthews unable to break through and set anyone up there in scoring position, where now it's going to be Tom Beattie. No, it's Trent Beattie. Sorry, Trent Beattie? Oh, goodness, I should know that. Okay. That's what camera does to you. So it's, anyway, he's unable to get anything done, whether his name is Trent or Tom. Pretty sure it's Trent, actually, come to think of it. So, or maybe I'm confusing with somebody else somewhere else. Anyway, too many names in my head. So Jerry Goyer here is going to get the puck by. You know what, Jones? Let's give it to Jones. Wouldn't have mattered the ace. Jones is going to be able to put it through and set up Arlo. Goodwin with the 6, though. He's unsuccessful. And let's see here. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and we had a couple of goals. So 2 periods have been played. So Vancouver looking to take one at Portland Memorial Coliseum. We have at least 20 more minutes, or 8 sequences in the case of this game to play, where the Canucks team player is going to start it off here for period 3. Let's give it to Al LeBrun. LeBrun with the 8. So let's see, he's going to be able to feed it to Popian in the slot. Popian this time with his second chance to score makes good on it. And the Canucks have taken a 3-2 lead here. They scored early in period 2. And they're catching Portland a little flat-footed out of the gate. So it's a 3-2 here for Vancouver. And McCusker picking up the secondary assist. That's another point for him in this one. But Portland trying to come back right away. Art Jones. Jones, a 10 is definitely through. And Jones feeds Tom McPhee. Tom McPhee here in the slot. And another king and another goal. Another puck getting by Gilles Villimer, where we have a 3-all verdict again. So just as soon, that's kind of been a story in this, just as soon as the Canucks get ahead, the Bucks come back and tie us. The Canucks and the Bucks deadlocked at 3 here in period 3 of game 1. Secondary assist on the goal for the Buckaroos is going to be Jack Bionda, who also was in that documentary a little bit via some archived footage. Anyways, we're going to get here. It's going to be Jerry Goyer for Portland. Portland not messing around now. Maybe they were rope-a-doping Vancouver in the first 40. Goyer through here to the Queen, through to Gord Fashaway. And Fashaway, Joker says, I'm at home. We had a 4 lead here for Portland over Vancouver. They didn't always look the prettiest beating San Francisco either. Not all sweeps are created equal, and there were 2 very close games. among those three. Anyway, the secondary assist here, because I say Goyer, right? Goyer to McPhee, and Goyer with the 7 getting it through to McPhee there. Okay, so the 6 of hearts is going to be Goyer. Since he can't assist twice in a goal, we're calling it a 1-assist goal. And Portland continuing with possession. Jack Bionda again, however, with the 6. That's going to be taken away by the Canucks defense. Now the 5 for Vancouver. Again, it's Trent Beatty here with a 9. And he gets it 2-5. Ron Matthews has jumped up in the play with the jack. However, Don Head will complete the save like he does on any face card. And Tom McPhee with it, however, with a 2. That's a blunder punt. And so it's, let's see here, Jack. Now it's going to be Arnie Schmotz with it. Schmotz with the 4. Just narrowly knocked off the puck here. So 2 more come off the deck. However, so we do have one more sequence to play here. Will it be sudden death, or will it be the Bucks taking a narrow verdict here in Game 1? Unfortunately, we know who's won. Let's see if the Bucks are going to pad their lead. McCarthy unable to play it anywhere to anyone. So after Game 1 here, 4-3 for the Buckaroos. I'm going to pause, switch, and shuffle. So here again for Game 2, and some thoughts that I had as I was shuffling and switching in between. One being... and of course, now that I have the camera on, what was I thinking about? Oh, well, just for one thing, I'm going to be kind of sad to finish this project. Makes me a little sad, even though, again, I did short and reduced projects that I would have time to get around to some others as well. But I mean, really, it kind of felt like the M with the Chuck Maxwell game. But this year, I will play the entire series. So yeah, the entire best of 5 will be played on this video. And actually, another thing that I thought of was... I've not been posting in like timestamps and comments like I do for some of my other videos. I think what I might do though is do that because I don't want to give away a number of games and stuff like that. It's kind of, I just don't like spoilers. But perhaps if I put spoiler at the top of a comment, like spoiler below, and then just space, just skip several lines, and then anyway, it's just a thought that I had. I might do that and then timestamp some things. It's going to be Vancouver. That's right. I have to remember now. I'm in Vancouver here for Game 2. And apologies, actually, I could look it up, but this game is being played in Vancouver, probably. Although 63 in real life was played at the Cow Palace for all 7 games, they could not get the arena in Seattle at the time. I think it's called Seattle Center. Seattle. Anyway, so it's going to be here, Vancouver here, number 10, Vancouver, card 10 in Vancouver. That's going to be Carl Boone. Carl Boone with the 8. He's going to set up Larry Popian. Again, Popian here with the Queen. That's going to be a good save for Don Head, though. And Art Jones with it now here for the Buckaroos. Jones again with the King. Jones gets it to Goyer. Goyer normally more of a setup man, but they've switched roles here, and Goyer's made this a 1-0 game in Game 2 here of this best of 5 series. Goyer from Jones, the secondary assist going to Arnie Schmotz. We have a 1-0 game here in the first period where Marty Howe will have it here off the hop, but with an 8, he's narrowly unable to make anything happen with it. And now it's going to be Orville Tessier here. Tessier with the blackjack, same thing, unable to do anything. And yes, I overlooked the injury part of this. Don't want to injure anyone in the final. Popian here with the 7, unable to make anything happen. So there would be several injuries if I permitted them. Seems like that's coming up a lot, the second card of the sequence, more than it should perhaps. Anyway, Jim Baird with it here now for the Canucks, looking to get even here toward the end of 1, and he gets it 2-5 on Vancouver. That is Ron Matthews. Ron Matthews with the 6, though, unable to put it through and behind Don Head, where it's going to be Ken Lofman now with it here. And see what I said about the jack, the blackjack, and the second card of the sequence? That happens, I think, more than it statistically should. Final 2.5 minutes here, the first period, where the Queen, it's going to be McCusker trying to get even late in period 1 like he did late in period 1 in Game 1. McCusker, he's going to get it through successfully to a team player on Vancouver. And that team player with the 5 just narrowly missing, actually. Vancouver scored a lot from their bench, evidently, that season. So it is 1-0 here for Portland after 1 here in Game 2. Back for period 2 in Game 2, where off the bat it's going to be Art Jones with the puck. Once again, Jones getting that dang Red King, but this time he gets it to 9. Arnie Schmotz, and Schmotz with the 5, a narrow miss. We play on here 2.5 in, where Les Hunt here trying to flip the script for Vancouver. Hunt with the ace. Hunt, let's see here, ace in a hole to Robert Bob Cabell with the 8, and we have a tie game here. The Canucks have even the score at 1 here. They're good at getting goals early in periods so far in this. So it is Cabell from Les Hunt, and with the diamond there, it's going to be Cabell since he can't get the second point on the single goal. It'll just be a 1-assist goal. And Mike Donaldson here. Donaldson, 12 years with the Buckaroos from 62 to 74, and successfully having played it through here to a team player on the Buckaroos. With the 10, I want to go to a young Dallas Smith just because. And again, he only gets brief mention in the documentary. It's more for the long-timers. Smith unsuccessful, though. And this is his team in 63 for Portland that actually would get even better the following season, having acquired Connie Madigan and Jim Hay as well on the blue line. Over from Seattle came or from Spokane actually, I think came Madigan, if I'm not mistaken. And then they also had Andy Benton as well from the National Hockey League, the Iron Man, who came over and just played another decade or more as a pro in the Western Hockey League. Anyway, with the 2, it is a Portland team player here, the Jack. This time, let's give it to Davidson. And with the 9, Bill Davidson able to play it to 7, Ken Loffman. Loffman with the Jack. That's going to be stopped by Gilles Villemire, but it's going to be any player on Vancouver House. Phil Maloney. Phil Maloney with the 6. Maloney getting it to Jim Baird. And Jim Baird, great save by Don Head. Glove save by Don Head. We play on here. And Orville Tessier with it again. Tessier, of course, it's the second card of the sequence, so we get another blackjack. As if to tempt me to use that feature. Like, come on, injure somebody. Anyway, it's going to be McCusker here with a 6. Gets it through to Jim Baird. Jim Baird, another opportunity here to put Vancouver ahead. This time he makes good on it, fooling Don Head. And it's 2-1 here for Vancouver late in the second period. It was Jim Baird from McCusker. That's right, McCusker picking up another point in this. And that's going to be Ron Matthews getting the secondary assist. So one more sequence to go here in the frame where it's going to be the Buckaroos here and Kings and Red Queens. So the Canucks defense breaks that up, and that's your score after 2. We have a 2-1 game here for Vancouver in Vancouver. So Coach Hal Layco was said during the documentary itself really concerned with defense. That was one criticism, one of very few actually from the players, in between plenty of praise for Layco, was that he would try to go maybe a little too defense first in the playoffs. Layco himself having been a defenseman in the National Hockey League with New York briefly. He played for New York in my 47. I did a 47 full NHL season replay with Mike Owens Quick Play Pro Hockey. And then Layco, I guess, as well, well known in Boston. I believe the Bruins through the 50s. And so he was the coach of the Buckaroos at the time. And maybe it's backfired a little bit here. Portland down a goal going into period 3. Hopefully these are shuffled well enough. Let's get it on the go. Where it's going to be Les Hunt here trying to pick up another point here. Unfortunately, Hunt unable to play it through there to anybody with a chance to score. However, it's going to be Carl Boone picking up the slack here. Boone with a 6. It's to a team player on Vancouver again. The 8, we'll go with Marty Howe, but Howe with the 2, unfortunately, a dud of a shot. And it's going to be Mike Donaldson here. Donaldson with the ace. Donaldson gets it to Tom McVie, and Tom McVie with the 3, and that's all he needs here to tie the game at 2 in period 3 here in game 2. So Tom McVie from Mike Donaldson, a couple long timers there for the Buckaroos. And the Jack, that's Orville Tessier picking up the secondary. So McVie from Mike Donaldson and Orville Tessier here. I think we're 5 in, 7.5 in. I just basically wait until the other deck gets thin to check. Can't be keeping track of time all the time. Anyway, McCusker, he's been successful with just about every touch. And he's looking to put Vancouver right ahead right away to Jim Baird. And Jim Baird with the 6. That'll do. So the score is now 3-2 here. Vancouver just as quickly almost as it was tied, it must have felt like, to the Buckaroos at least. And Vancouver's back in front here, 3-2. Ron Matthews picking up another helper. And off the draw, it's going to be in the next sequence. Jim Baird with it again. Baird successful with the 10. The Jack, that's going to be David Duke. And big save there by Don Head trying to keep the Buckaroos alive and in it. Unfortunately, now it's the Canucks with their possession. Les Hunt, he gets it to Duke. Duke has another go through, and the Vancouver Canucks are up by 2. So, Buckaroos, basically from here on in, it has to be all Buckaroos. The 5 and the Queen, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to do it, so I will play this through. But spoiler here, I already know what happens. Let's see if Donaldson and co can make it close to 8 here to Jerry Goyer with the 6. So Portland here, they will get to within 1. Unfortunately, that was the final sequence of the game here. I'll double check. So we got 4. We got 4, 8, doing a live check here, 12, 16, 19, which is what I expected, because with team players and with secondary assists handed out, you don't quite have 22 remaining at the end of a period. So it's 4-3 here in Game 2. The Canucks have battled their way back, and the series is tied at 1 after 2 games. So we have a series here back for Game 3 where the Canucks have pulled even. This is actually the first time, this thought that I had as I was shuffling, this is the first time that Vancouver has defeated Portland. They were 0-2 against Portland during my abbreviated regular season. So it's, Vancouver and Portland here to start things for Game 3 where the 5, that's going to be Bill Davidson here. And Davidson, unfortunately, for Portland's sake, unable to get anything done with it here. Off the draw, so it's going to be Les Hunt here for the Canucks. Les Hunt now with the 4, also similarly unsuccessful. We're 5 minutes in here with little of anything. Did nothing happening here. Jim Bear with the 4, similarly as well, unable to get anything going here for his team. And now Portland, it's going to fall to a team player, the King. Let's give it to Doug Anderson. Doug Anderson with the 4, unfortunately, means that we're just burning 2 more cards here. So a tight one here in Game 3. Hal Lako trying to work that defense-first system into his team there. They tried to open up more in period 3 unsuccessfully, but it's Tom McPhee here. McPhee feeds it through in the slot. He gets it to Jack Bionda, jumping up on, and Bionda there with the 9, or with the 7 where he needed a 9. So it's going to be 7 now back to Larry Popien. Popien with the 9. Popien sets up Jim Baird. Jim Baird with the 3 misfires. So now we have the 8. The 8 means that Arlo Goodwin back the other way for the Buckaroos. Goodwin with the 10. He gets it to Gord Fashway. And Fashway will make no mistake about it, putting Portland up on 1, or up by 1 here, breaking the scoreless tie. And that's right, it was like 25 cards need to flip for secondary assist. So the secondary helper here will go to Tom McPhee, picking up another point here. Final sequence of the first period, it's going to be the Buckaroos trying to add to their lead. Arnie Schmotz with a 6. Schmotz finds Bill Saunders, and Bill Saunders, who was suspiciously a little quiet, I think he had 1 point, 1 goal actually, but he did actually. But since scoring that first goal there, first thing in Game 1, I don't think he's had a point since then, but he's picked up 1 here in Game 3, so I guess it really hasn't been all that long after all. Saunders, who even scored 40 goals, he was saying toward the end of the year they let him go. Simply there was money issues and stuff, so Harry Glickman had to sort of pull the plug on Saunders, where he went to Chicago and ultimately came back to Portland, I think, as a resident where his family was. Anyway, Saunders here has a goal. Maybe it wasn't such a good thing that I'm doing this in the tail end if I haven't watched that documentary, but I don't know. It's, I'm going to talk about stuff that's not necessarily related to this game specifically. Saunders making it 2-0 here at the tail end of 1, the secondary assist, because it was it Schmotz or a good one? Who got with the ace and was the jack? Yeah, Schmotz, and then Saunders. Okay, so the 2 of clubs is going to be Schmotz. He can't get 2 assists in the goal, so it's simply Saunders from Schmotz here, 2-0 after 1 in Game 3. All right, so it's 2-0 here after period 1 of Game 3 here. Back for the second. Larry Popien with the puck here off the draw, and Red Kings and King of Clubs. So there you go. The Portland defense there. I was throwing in an ad, see if there one didn't come to me immediately, trying to. So Boone here with the 3, unfortunately unable to get anything done with it either. And let's see. So the ace here, it's Jerry Goyer. Goyer with the 2, so he punts that. And let's see here. Whoops, it's that's the scoreboard. So it's a queen here now. That's Ken Loffen with the jack, of course. So let's burn another couple here, and we have the 9. The 9's going to be Ron Matthews. Ron Matthews with the 4. So a lot of ineffective play between these teams, maybe some jitters here in Game 3. They realize now, each team realizes they can lose to the other on any given night. Vancouver sort of shattered that aura of invincibility for Portland, but I mean, having a shattered aura, they're at least up by 2 here. So I need to keep better track, though. Where was I in the sequence? Goodness, if I'm going to talk, I have to be... Yeah, so the 9 that started off with Matthews, so the 4 and the 2 cards burned. So kicking off this one is Ken Loffman for the Buckaroos there. 8 means he's going to be able to set up somebody here with a chance to score. Jack Bionda with the 2. He fans in the shot. So it's going to be a 9 here now. Tom McPhee with the ace. Aces are automatic to 6. Orville Tessier getting involved in the goal scoring here in this series. So we have a 3-0 game right now for the Buckaroos. Here in the second period of Game 3, Jerry Goyer looking to add to it. They want more. It's going to be Goyer here to Arlo Goodwin. Goodwin with the Jokers. So Portland very upset that Vancouver stole a game in this series. And here in Game 3, Vancouver still has a little time. And they also have possession there. Jim Baird, aces again are automatic. Baird gets it to Trent Beatty. Beatty with the 6 and a narrow miss. And just in case I forgot to flip for a secondary assist on Tessier's goal, we're going to give it to Ken Loffman. If he didn't get the primary, I'll have to play the video back. And so after 2 periods of play here, it's 4-0 for the Buckaroos. Third and final period here of the third game. Well, I shouldn't say that. If Vancouver gets 4 here in the third, then we'll have sudden death. But Arlo Goodwin here to kick us off with the 5. So he's eaten time, but he's not created a scoring opportunity where we head up to 5 minutes now, try to keep track of time more actively. And it's Goodwin all over the puck again. He wants a do-over, but of course the second card of the sequence is a blackjack. Now headed to 7.5 minutes. Going to be Robert Cabell here for the Vancouver Canucks. Cabell with the 9. He successfully gets it to David Duke, and that's a huge stop there for Don Head, trying to preserve his I'm not going to say it. It's going to be Bill Davidson now with it here. Davidson with the 7. And with the 7, he's unsuccessful. That spells unsuccessful. I think we're 10 minutes in, but I'm not positive. Do not quote me on that. Arnie Schmotz here with the 10. Schmotz, he's going to feed it to Bill Saunders, who just barely puts it over the line in behind Joe Villamere, who's protesting. But I believe we have a 5-0 score here now for the Portland Buckaroos here. The 10 of clubs, a secondary assist going to Orville Tessier. So it's going to be Bob McCusker here. He's been pretty productive in this series for the Canucks, but this is not an example of that. And the Jack, this time it's going to be Jim Baird, who's been similarly prominent, but Baird unable to get anything through. And what to do here now, it's going to be Jerry Goyer with it here with a 2. And let me double check here now. Do we have a sequence left? That's your game, if you even want to call it that, here with a 5-0 score. So Portland has really come back in big fashion to take a 2-1 lead in this series, where with this being a best of 5 means that the Canucks will go back to Vancouver now, facing elimination in Game 4. Okay, so here for Game 4, it's back in Vancouver, and this could actually be, again, thoughts that I had while I was shuffling. This could be the final game of the project right here, so in case I forget to say it later, if I'm just drawing a blank or whatever for nerves or whatever, I'll say it here that, again, I'm pretty sure anyway, just doing the math in my head, I think 5 plus 3 plus 3, so yeah, 91. Doing the playoff games, there was 80 games to play before that. For a condensed regular season. And so here for Game 4, again, it'd be kind of sad to leave this project, but I also know that with the game DoC Hockey alone, there's a certain World Hockey Association season project, waiting in the wings or whatever. So anyway, let's see here. It's going to be, this will definitely not be a farewell to DoC. Ron Hutchinson now gets it here. Trying to reverse fate here for Vancouver, though they have played and come back from behind in a series before, and they're going to be forced to do it again here and now. Ron Hutchinson, he's going to play it through to Queen Jim Baird. Jim Baird is going to get Vancouver a goal right off the bat here. It's 1-0 for the Vancouver Canucks. That is Jim Baird from Ron Hutchinson, and the spade is Les Hunt. The 8 of spades is Les Hunt. So 1-0 here, 2.5 minutes into Game 4, roughly, and it's David Duke here with it. Now Duke here with the King. So successful play through to the Jack. The Jack, it's Duke again, individual effort end-to-end, and 2-0 Vancouver. They didn't like what happened to them in Game 3. They're looking to show Portland how it feels here. The secondary assist is going to be Carl Buddy Boone and Portland behind the 8 ball here in Game 4. But Art Jones, he's jokered out of it. So that's an unsuccessful play with Jones being on the road. It would be automatic if he were at home. Anyway, the 2 and the 4 here. So let's say Fashaway. No, Mike Donaldson. Donaldson with a 7, able to set up Tom McCarthy. Tom McCarthy with a joker. Portland jokered out twice, and they're down 2-0 here in period 1 of Game 4. And Marty Howe with it. Howe with the 3. So unable to do anything other than eat time here, protecting a lead. And it's going to be here, Trent Beattie here with it for the Canucks, but he's unfortunately unable to do anything. And so we look here now. It's going to be David Duke here with it again, and the Queen is unfortunately unable, for the Canucks' sake, unable to penetrate the Portland Buckaroos defense. And let's see here. So toward the end here of the period, it is a 9 there. We have Tom McPhee here with a 10, and McPhee here with a 10 to the 5. That goes to Jack Bionda with the 10. So Bionda, he's had a few chances at it, and finally pays off for him. His work ethic, and beyond the lacrosse, an accomplished lacrosse player as well. That was pointed out to me during the season, something that I did not know prior to playing this. But it's a 2-1 game here, and the secondary assist, I don't think the King of Diamonds, I stand corrected, Gord Fashaway, picking up a secondary assist here. So it is, though I'm pretty sure, let me double check here. So 4, 8, 12. Imagine if I had to call that goal back. 16, 18, but we had 3 goals and a team player, so that math adds up and checks out. So it's 2-1 after 1 here in Game 4 for Vancouver. Headed into period 2 here in Game 4, the Canucks up by a 2-1 score, and they're going to have possession here off the bat with Jim Baird, unfortunately for the Canucks' sake, unable to do anything of significance with it. But it's going to be the Canucks maintaining possession thanks to Marty Howe, and thanks to him and the Canucks being at home. It's automatically through. Howe gets it to Larry Popium. Popium with the Queen, which automatically means a good save for Don Head. In my eyes and mind. Anyway, it's going to be Hutchinson here with it. Hutchinson with another successful playthrough, though. Hutchinson gets it to Trent Beattie, and Beattie with a 6, a narrow miss there for him. But it's all Canucks here in period 2 thus far. Carl Buddy Boone, and he will set someone up with a chance to score. That someone being Robert Bob Cabell. Unfortunately for Cabell and the Canucks, unable to get anything through and done. So Tom McCarthy, he is jacked out, if not jokered out. And so here in period 2, again, the Canucks controlling the play well. Duke, again, unsuccessful, but what they are doing here is eating time or flat out killing it. So it's going to be Al LeBrun here with it now. The 4, again, unable to do anything or make anything happen here. However, Portland's running out of chances, at least in the second frame. And another jacked out there for Phil Maloney, because it doesn't really matter if he's at home or on the road. I'm going to double check here. 4, 8, 12... 16, 21. Oh, because the team player. Yep, so after 2 periods of play here, we have a scoreless second period, and we still have a 2-1 score. So they called themselves the Kings of the Road, and that Roger Miller song was their kind of their theme song, their anthem or whatever. Particularly, I think, when they were on the road. But the Buckaroos here, being on the road here in Game 4 of the 63 Lester Patrick Cup Final, find themselves down by a goal here. 2-1 headed into period 3. So let's see, can they win on the road, or will they this series have to go back to Portland, a Memorial Coliseum, for a 5th and final game, where the Buckaroos actually didn't end up winning a series like this at home until 1971. I mean, their other championships, 61 and 65, were won on the road. Can they win it in 63 here on the road? Well, it is the Canucks to start things off here. Carl Boone passes the puck to Trent Beattie. That's going to be saved, either blocked by the Portland defense or stopped by Don Head, but it's going to be Bob McCusker now. McCusker as well will maneuver it to somebody with a chance to score. That somebody is Ron Matthews, but that is a great save for Don Head, where now the Buckaroos and Mike Donaldson have it. Donaldson, unfortunately, unable to set up anyone in scoring position. We're 7.5 minutes in now, up to the 10-minute mark. It is Duke for Vancouver with the 5, unable to do anything with it. So now it's going to be Arnie Schmotz here. Schmotz with the ace for the Buckaroos. Unfortunately, the Joker again. So The Buckaroos have had terrible luck with that, but Ken Lofton trying to change their luck here now with the follow-up in the ace to the 4. That's to Arlo Goodwin with the 5. So Arlo Goodwin unable to get a good shot off there, and it's going to be Larry Popiem with the 9, where he will set up 5. Ron Matthews with the 10. And that's all but daggers for Portland, I would think, here at this stage in the game for the Vancouver Canucks, taking a 3-1 lead. The secondary helper on that goal going to Phil Maloney, quietly picking up another point here. And 3, though, that's Portland, and that's Orville Tessier, 3 with the 2. So Tessier, unfortunately... And unfortunately, that's time there. So this is a 2-2 series. The Vancouver Canucks here in 1963 in this Lester Patrick Cup final. We got a game 5. And I've said all along, I'm not going to go back my word now. This was going to be a best of 5, a shortened series for a shortened season. So I'll have to, I guess, pause and shuffle more and switch. And I'm a little surprised. I don't know why I would be. I mean, Vancouver, again, they had a pretty good team. They didn't perform so well. They kind of underperformed, I think, again, in my abbreviated season that I did for this. But here we are, and here Vancouver is, again, 0-2 against Portland during the regular season. The reduced, I probably don't have to keep saying that in different ways, but the reduced regular season portion of this, 0-2 against Portland, but... they are now 2-2 against Portland where it matters and counts for more. So game 5, we have a game 5, and I have 12 minutes to flip out that game 5. So here in game 5, we're so far, the home team has won all 4 games. Portland here with home ice advantage here in game 5 of 5. However, it is the Canucks bucking that here, starting things off. Bucking the Buckaroos, and unfortunately, Tho Hutchinson unable to make anything happen. So we're 2.5 in here now. Up to minute 5, and Orville Tessier, the Joker, Portland. They're not getting jokered out this time. They're getting the benefit of the Joker. That goes to Ken Lofton with the Queen. Good save, Gilles Villemere. But Portland maintains possession. Jerry Goyer just barely able to thread the needle and get it through to Jack Bionda. Bionda up in the slot with a 7, not going to be quite good enough. Back the other way now, the Vancouver Canucks, Ron Matthews, similarly unsuccessful here. I believe we're about halfway through period 1 now. Don't quote me on that. Could be a little wrong about that, but Ken Lofton here with the 9. Lofton's going to get the puck too. Ken Lofton again, individual effort, but he was a little out of steam there at the end of it. And it's going to be Jim Baird now for Vancouver. Jim Baird with the 10. He's going to get it to a Vancouver Canucks team player. We're going to say Marty Howe. Marty Howe with the 3, unfortunately, for his sake and that of the Canucks, unsuccessful from there. But now Phil Maloney will have a try. Red Kings will get by the Portland defense. The Canucks again have to look to a team player. I feel so bad. That is a joker. Okay, I'm going, because I've encountered, it's rare, but I've encountered this other times, and I just automatically take it away from the visiting team, no matter what card in the sequence the Joker comes up. As I've said before, Joker, visitor, bad. So here we got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. How's that? Oh, yeah, 2 team players. So that means we got one more sequence of the period. Oops, glad I double-checked there. Where Art Jones has it successfully here. They don't want to be denied or deprived of any time. Jones gets it to Saunders. Kind of a no-brainer when Bill Saunders is in position to score. So 1-0 Portland here at the tail end of 1. The secondary assist in the goal is going to Jerry Goyer. So Portland putting the heavyweights out there for the final shift of the frame with Art Jones, Jerry Goyer, and Bill Saunders, and they do produce. They do come through to give the Buckaroos a 1-0 lead here after period 1 in game 5. Back for the second, and a thought that I have shuffling now as I smash my elbow there off the desk top there, is that I've spent about as much time shuffling, more time shuffling really, than I have playing this game. But speaking of time, I have only about 9 minutes left here. This camera and phone running out of memory, so it's going to be Jerry Goyer here getting it by default here to start things off for the second period. But it's going to be the Vancouver Canucks taking it away. And so now it's turned over again here. Tom McCarthy, the 10. McCarthy here with the King. McCarthy gets it through to Bill Saunders. And Saunders, unfortunately, with the Jack. A rare misfire for Saunders here. So, but it's going to be Portland maintaining possession. Art Jones similarly flops there, though. So some missed opportunities there for the Buckaroos, where Les Hunt now for Vancouver. And similarly unsuccessful here in period 2 of game 5. This one for all the marbles, where Ken Loftman has it there with the 7 and the 6, gets it to Orville Tessier. Tessier has his marbles scrambled there, knocked off the puck before he can get a shot off. So Marty Howe now with it in the 7. That's unfortunate for him and his team with that 2 in the follow-up, where it's going to be Ken Loftman now with it. Loftman, I feel like his name's come up a bunch here in Game 5. And Loftman here with the 10. Loftman going to play it through to Arnie Schmotz, and Schmotz with, so close. Schmotz rings it off the post here. It's going to be Donaldson, though. Donaldson with the 9. That is a through. Loftman here now with it, trying to score. And I think that is 2 periods of play where Don Head in the Portland blue line here has held the Vancouver Canucks scoreless. But, well, all right, back for period 3. This has gotten a little tense here. Certainly I feel it. The Portland Buckaroos here up by a goal over the Vancouver Canucks here in game 3 of, in period 3 of game 5. Could the Canucks have one big period here? That's all they would need with the series tied at 2 and a best of 5. Could the Buckaroos manage to hold on, and Don Head and again the red Buckaroos blue line there shutting Vancouver out, or at least shutting them down enough? Or could we have sudden death? Let's find out here, where it's going to be the Canucks here in the opening sequence, and Beattie unfortunately narrowly unsuccessful with that, and it's going to be Marty Howe now this time with the try. Ace is automatic for Vancouver. Howe gets it to Ford, and with the 4 with the 4 there, unfortunately for Vancouver, unable to make anything happen there. Red Queens means it's going to be good for Arnie Schmotz against the Vancouver Canucks defense. Schmotz now to 9. He's going to play it and get it back to himself. A give and go, unfortunately, with the 2, unable to get a good shot off. And it's going to be Duke back for Vancouver now. Duke with the 10. Gets it to Beattie. Duke to Beattie, and Beattie similarly with the 2 with just a terrible shot. But it's Phil Maloney this time looking to tie for Vancouver. Maloney with the 7. Sets up Larry Popien. Popien unfortunately unable to score here. And it's going to be this time Bob Cabell with it. Bob Cabell with the 8. Vancouver now all around the Portland net. Ron Hutchinson with the 9. And finally they have broken through and tied the game at 1, of course, because I have no time left actually to film the oh goodness, if this goes to sudden death. The secondary assist here for the Canucks goes to Duke, who I think actually got the initial, or was it Hutchinson? Cabell, that's right. Okay, so and Hutchinson with a goal. Okay, so Duke will get the secondary assist here, and it's going to be a Portland team player here with a Portland team player there, Gord Fashway, with the 6, so he manages to play it through. Fashway gets to the Jack Tom McCarthy, who's been somewhat quiet in this series, and this is no exception, but it's going to be Tom McVie now. Another Tom for Portland. McVie misplays it. I got to double check. So a team player and a secondary assist says that we are headed to sudden death here in the 5th and final game of this series. Okay, 6 minutes of camera time left here. Sudden death, this first sequence is going to be so important. And it is Portland here. Portland, Arlo Goodwin. Goodwin with the king. That will get by the Vancouver defense. He set up Arlo Goodwin. Can Goodwin be the overtime hero? The answer is no there with a 6 unable to score. Portland will maintain possession. Orville Tessier. That's not going to get through the Vancouver defense, however. So we're 5 minutes here into sudden death overtime, where it is Bob McCusker with the puck. McCusker with the 9. Gets it through to a team player on Vancouver. Vancouver, could it be Adam Keller? Could he be the overtime hero? Keller with a king. Don Head with a huge save to keep this thing alive, but Phil Maloney, and Portland is scrambling in their own end. Maloney with the ace. He's going to play it to Ford, and Ford with the queen. That's going to be another big save there for Don Head, but more from Vancouver, where Ron Matthews, unfortunately, that will be taken away by the Buckaroos defense. And this time the Buckaroos here, Arnie Schmotz with a 7. Schmotz maneuvers it to the king, Tom McVie, and Tom McVie has won it for the Portland Buckaroos in sudden death overtime. Not a moment too soon for was it Vicky or Becky Larson? I actually looked for her on Google and found some stuff that popped up in that search was stuff that I didn't want to see or read. But there was somebody who bring cowbells to the game, and they have wire where glass boards would be today, and she would rattle the bells off the wire. So anyway, my point here being that they're on their feet in Portland here at the Memorial Coliseum, where they have won the Lester Patrick Cup here for 63. Unfortunately, this is the closest thing that I have here, this mug of water, to a Lester Patrick Cup. I didn't want to use the Stanley Cup for a video like this. So I should have actually looked for that. I mean, goodness, this shop that had a COVID-19 toy could very well have had something that I could have used as like a makeshift cup. But I don't think it's going to matter to the Buckaroos here at this point. So 63, kind of a stopgap victory for them. Again, a Buckaroos team that would get even stronger the following season. And in fact, in 65, it said at some point during, again, Kings of the Road, the documentary, they played a trio of exhibition games against NHL teams prior to the 65 season, I think it was. Toronto, Chicago, and another one. They went 2-0-1 in those games. This was a very seriously good, very well run, well managed. And I know a lot of players will say all the right things and say that about their teams, anywhere and everywhere for the most part, because it's in media in the other way if they don't. But really, you get the impression after 90 plus minutes of that Kings of the Road documentary, like Portland was one heck of a place to play in the 1960s. So perhaps that it is fitting here for this 63 replay, even in a year where they did not win the championship. They were first overall in the league, but they were upset in the playoffs, as happened to them more than once. A great regular season team was Portland. But here they were almost upset by the Vancouver Canucks, so you get a really good final here, I think, in my estimation anyway. But it is in overtime. It was, Tom McVie again in overtime I didn't get the secondary assist, McVie from Schmotz, of course, and the secondary assist there, the three of spades going to Ken Loftman. And again, as the series progressed, Loftman's came up more and more, so perhaps that's also fitting. Anyway, anytime, any consideration that you give to anything like this here, the conclusion of this project, though I still have to, and I've got the spreadsheets and stuff I have to update and then get some information up on Delphi. But again, thank you for any time and any consideration that you give to this. It's definitely always appreciated, even if it's never expected. And again, I have literally like 2.5 minutes just barely left on my phone according to this for the memory and everything. So all right, so I guess what better way to, congratulations to the Portland Buckaroos, and this is a project concluded, and cheers, thanks, and bye for now.